I just wondered how important it was that this not be sort of just a character study in isolation, but that you keep the paintings themselves in focus, as well as the act of creation, down to sort of putting the paint on the canvas, the nail, scratching away and spitting.
Well, I mean, if you're going to make a film about a blacksmith, you're going to see him shoeing a horse, basically, and you're going to want to know about the horse. So, I mean, it seems natural to make a film about a painter and see the paintings, and for the audience to understand what it is he makes. So implicitly there throughout the film, and occasionally very, very specifically, very explicitly, are the paintings, is the work. But, the man doing it, the man, getting down and dirty, rolling up his sleeves, creating the stuff, is an integral part of what it's about.
And what particularly intrigued you about Turner the Man? Obviously, we see in the film that contrast between the sublime and romantic nature of what he shows us in the paintings and quite an earthy, sometimes inexpressive
I can only
character.
repeat what you've just said. I mean, it is precisely that. The combination of this eccentric, flawed, but passionate individual with this epic, sublime work. It's just seemed to really demand a film.
And you've spoken about being at Camberwell Art School and having your Eureka moment, which have you kind of come up with your process. I wondered, in the film, at one point we see Turner sort of strapped to a ship mid-storm and then taking that in, going back to his canvas. And I just wondered how relatable Turner's creative process is to your own.
I think all creative processes, whatever the medium, involve obviously some kind of inspiration, but in the actual practice, they all involve improvisation and order. Whatever you do, you first improvise and then you put order on it in some way. And that's what I do, and that's what all artists do. So there's no special kind of relationship between Turner and what I do. It's what we do, we artists, whoever we are.
And you thank Tate Britain and the Royal Academy, the National Gallery in the end credits of the film. What access were you given to the painting themselves? And we
were given total access. All of the institutions, not least and especially the Tate Britain, were incredibly helpful to us. But the Royal Academy were too. They gave us time, they gave us a couple of lectures, we could use the library. In the film, when Turner is offered £100,000, which was a great deal of money in the late 1840s, by a millionaire to buy all of his stuff, and he refuses, and this really did happen. He says, no, I want it all together for the public to look at for free. That is the Turner bequest at the Tate Britain. There are 20,000 pieces in there, and in the archive there's all kinds of stuff, including Turner's colour charts that he did, which we were able to consult, which were immensely helpful to us in the preparation of the film. They were just incredibly generous, and the fact that there is this late Turner exhibition at the Tate Britain, currently, almost at the same time as the release of the film, is a complete coincidence. And they are delighted, we are delighted, and for us, going to see the exhibition a couple of weeks ago, it was kind of spooky because, it was the film. And of course, because we've persuaded ourselves in our arrogant filmmaking way that we really know Turner and this is our world, we had a sort of weird and slightly ridiculous sense of ownership of this stuff until we suddenly caught ourselves out and said, hang on a minute, actually this is the real Turner, we must be careful not to feel too smug about this.
And you've obviously been working with Timothy Spall for 3 decades now, or over that. Why did you see him as the right man to play Turner?
Great character actor, a Londoner, working class background, read his Dickens, good at 19th century, some pretensions to drawing and painting of an amateur kind. He went and did lessons for 2 years before we made the film with a distinguished painter. I just felt it felt right, and I think I made the right decision.
Yes, and Can agreed with you. How gratifying would it be to see him go on and win other awards as the season goes on?
It'd be great. you would be surprised if I told you that I thought it would be bad news. I mean, it's just wonderful, basically.
And where did the grunting come from? Is that from a description of how Turner spoke, or did that come from rehearsals?
Well, no, I mean, we studied numerous descriptions of Turner's behaviour and speech, the way he's talked. And there's even somebody logged verbatim him actually speaking, which was quite useful to us. He was very eloquent, could be very eloquent, as he is in the film. Sometimes, his conversation would be peppered with classical references and things. But he also was prone to kind of, monosyllabic stuff. And the grunt seemed very natural, and it did come out of the work we did, but it was based on research.
And also in terms of language, I believe you've got a book, the Dictionary of the Vulgar Tongue.
I mean, it would be wrong to say that the entire script of the film came from that book. I merely mentioned that as one of a whole bunch of resources that are available. I mean, as a writer, for me the job is to get the language accurate, and so that you really do feel that it's real, basically, when you watch it.
There's very striking use of light in the film from the first scene in Holland to after Turner's father's death, when he's sitting in the boat and it's streaming through the leaves there. How much of that was sort of storyboard and very much sort of planned, and how much did you obviously the external shots sort of use what you had on the day?
There was no storyboarding. We don't storyboard. We worked the way we work, which is to get out there and find the images and respond to what we find out there. But at the same time, there was planning of certain principles of how it would look. And, I mean, there's a scene, a moment when Turner leaves Mrs. Booth's house very early in the morning and it pans around to a sunrise with a boat. Well, obviously, we planned that in the sense that we got up for several mornings to check out where the sun was very early, and then we got up on the last of those mornings and filmed it, because we calculated exactly where the sun needed to be at sunrise, all that. But in the end, it's location filmmaking and responding to the environment.
And 4 Days in July, I think, was your last full film for television. Would you be tempted to go back to TV?
It's academic. No, not particularly, because a film is a film is a film, and I think it's important for feature films to be made and films to be seen on the big screen, people to share the film experience in cinemas. All of films that I make for cinema, like everybody else's films, get shown on television anyway and are released on DVD. The television world, for which I, like other people, used to make films, dramas, has changed considerably, and I'm not too interested in the conditions that exist in the television world. It's not relevant, really. I mean, all the films that I made for telly were films, and the difference between those and a motion picture is that you can work to higher standards and do more extraordinary things.
Mike Leigh, congratulations on Mr. Turner.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.